good morning, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Suzanne Mays. I'm the president of the Forum of Executive Women, a membership organization of more than 450 women executive leaders actively working to leverage the collective power of women's leadership in the greater Philadelphia region. We are here today to join State Representative Kate Harper and House Speaker Mike Turzai and their colleagues in the State House as they consider House Resolution 273, which encourages equitable and diverse gender representation on the boards and in senior management of companies and nonprofit institutions in Pennsylvania. For many years, the Forum has issued an annual Women on Boards report, which speaks to the status of women leaders in top area public companies. And in recent years, PwC has served as the report's sponsor and research partner. In 2016, the Forum chose the theme, Forces Pushing for Progress in the Boardroom and C-Suite, for the report, because experience has shown that it takes multiple strategies and forces to move more women into the ranks of leadership. Business leaders, advocacy organizations, investors, employees, customers, and elected officials all can and must be powerful forces for challenging the status quo. Change is imperative, as indicated in the Women in the Workplace 2016, a comprehensive study of the state of women in corporate America, conducted by leanin.org and McKinsey & Company, which emphasized, and I quote, that women are less likely to receive the first critical promotion to manager, so fewer end up on the path to leadership and are less likely to be hired into more senior positions. Women also receive less access to the people, input, and opportunities that accelerate careers. As a result, the higher you look in companies, the fewer women you see, end quote. Catalyst research series The Bottom Line found that companies that had more women on boards had better financial results than those with fewer women, and that companies with sustained high representation of women board directors significantly outperformed those with sustained low representation in terms of return on sales, return on invested capital, and return on equity. Women on corporate boards globally also cites research that found that companies with fewer women on boards had more governance-related controversies than average. Approval of House Resolution 273 will make Pennsylvania the 5th state, a leader, after California, Colorado, Illinois, and Massachusetts, to adopt a resolution that encourages companies to have gender-diverse boards and executive leadership. The Forum would like to thank House Speaker Mike Turzai, Representative Kate Harper, and their colleagues, as well as Karen Coates, Chief of Staff and Chief Counsel to Speaker Turzai, for recognizing the significance of Resolution 273 and for helping the Forum of Executive Women lead the charge for equitable representation of women in leadership positions and on boards throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Increasing the number of women on corporate boards and in C-suites is not just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. It is with great appreciation and pleasure that I introduce you to Speaker of the House, Mike Turzai.
Suzanne, thank you so much. An outstanding attorney and professional herself, and great mom and wife as well. She manages it all. And I have to tell you, I'm so honored to be here today with my colleague, Chairwoman Kate Harper, local government chair, and also just an outstanding legislator who has many significant pieces of legislation that are signed into law and leads on many fronts. And here she is again, leading on House Resolution 273, which I truly believe is really a bellwether for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and for the United States of America. As Suzanne said, with this resolution, we'll become just the 5th state in the nation to go on record supporting the effort to put more women in executive and board positions in our businesses and nonprofit institutions. And we need to see that all across the state. Pennsylvania needs to be at the forefront. And I believe that this resolution, because it has a cultural impact, I believe that this resolution will have reverberations throughout the business and nonprofit community in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the 6th most populous state in the nation, by the way. Even though women are earning 50% or more of most of the college degrees and make up nearly half of the labor force, it is somewhat surprising that the percentage of women in executive positions is less, significantly less. I would not have realized that. I thought we'd gotten beyond that. And the hard work and dedication of professional women in business is also good for business. It just is. According to a study by the Catalyst Research Center for Equity in Business Leadership, companies with more women on boards had better financial results than those with fewer women, as Suzanne said. I think that the CEOs, including women, have to take that into account so that we bring more women onto the executive team. And I will tell you this. I want to tell you just a little bit about the House of Representatives. Our chief of staff, chief counsel in the Speaker's office, our go-to person in the House of Representatives is Karen Coates. Karen didn't get that position because she's a woman. She got that position because she's the best. But here's the thing. Her being a woman was not an impediment to getting that position, and that's what has to change. That's what really has to change, and that's where Chair Kate Harper is taking the lead on that. You have to change the mindset in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, in the boardrooms, right? We've got to do that. We have to have expectations that women want and should be able to fill those positions because of the integrity and intelligence and hard work that they bring to the table, the vision that they bring to the table. We have a number of outstanding women legislators in our caucus, and they are not afraid to take the lead on issues. Trust me, they're not afraid. Tina Pickett, another example, who's chair of the Insurance Committee. Kathy Watson, who's chair of Children and Youth. Marcy Topol, our new House caucus chair, who's with us here today. Dawn Oberlander, who's our caucus secretary. These are just intelligent, dynamic leaders. And not only should government have more representation, but the business has to too. Another one of our leaders, Marguerite Quinn. Marguerite Quinn led on so many issues. Workers' comp reform was one of them. I'm honored to be a part of this here today. And at this time, I'm really honored to be able to introduce the prime sponsor and the leading advocate of this issue, House Resolution 273, my colleague and friend, Chairwoman Kate Harper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for being here. I know how busy your schedule is, and I know you have to run, and I'm okay with that, but thank you for being here. Appreciate that. Also like to give a shout out to my two colleagues, Representative Marguerite Quinn from Bucks County and Representative Marcy Topol from Montgomery County. Wave, ladies, there we are. Marcy's one of two women in Republican House leadership. She was elected by her colleagues to that job, so that's an important recognition that women can lead and do lead. But I'm here today as the prime sponsor of House Resolution 273, and I think it is an important step towards getting the word out about achieving equitable and diverse corporate boards and institution boards. Women have a lot to offer, and I think the boards themselves would do better with more women on them. As you heard, women earn 59% of bachelor degrees, nearly 60% of master's degrees, 52% of doctorate degrees, and 37% of MBAs. Women can do business. We know business. And with all that education, though, women make up only 47% of the U.S. labor force, 43% of the Pennsylvania labor force, and only 17% of the board seats on Fortune 100 companies. About Fortune 1000 companies, that's actually worse, sorry. About 13% of executive positions in the largest 100 public companies, which are headquartered in Pennsylvania. It's just not enough. 41 of these 100 companies have no women in executive positions. 18 have no women on their boards of directors. Does it matter? Yes. Yes, it does matter, because studies show that with women on their boards, companies do better. I'm just going to repeat that. With women on their boards, companies do better. So it does matter. It matters in the grand sense to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's economy. I'm sponsoring this resolution because I believe in Pennsylvania's executive women. I'm very grateful to the Forum of Executive Women of Greater Philadelphia. I'm sorry that the acronym for that group is FEW, because it should be many, okay? Because they're in their own right leaders, and they know that if we can get more women into leadership positions, it's better for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. But one of the impediments to getting women on corporate boards is, and the studies have shown this, it doesn't happen by accident. Companies have to be encouraged to look for women, encouraged to find women, and encouraged to appoint women to their executive boards. So what we are trying to do today with House Resolution 273 is encourage Pennsylvania companies to recognize that if they would look for these women and put them on their boards, they would do better, and we would do better as a Commonwealth. Another impediment is sometimes that there are so few women in the C-suite, the corporate suite, the CEO, COO position, that when companies go looking for directors, they can't find enough women to serve in these positions. But once again, the studies show that what boards really need are people with industry experience. And guess what? We do have women with industry experience. So if the companies would go looking for women with industry experience, they would find them, they would put them on their boards, and they would do better. And that's what House Resolution 273 recommends. And why does it matter to the General Assembly? Because it's Pennsylvania's economy we're talking about. So today, in a few minutes, I'll be asking my colleagues in the Pennsylvania House of Representatives to join me in voting for this resolution. And I encourage all of you to get the word out. Having women on corporate boards is good for business. Having women on corporate boards is good for Pennsylvania. Thank you very much.
Given that Speaker Turzai is so busy, he forgot the most important comment he wanted to make, which is he himself is married to a highly successful professional woman. His wife, Lydia Turzai, is a pediatrician with UPMC. And so I just wanted to note that as well, that he supports measures like this both here in Harrisburg and as well at home. It's now my pleasure to introduce Howard Brownstein. Howard is the president of the Philadelphia chapter of the National Association of Corporate Directors. Howard?
Thank you very much. My name is Howard Brownstein. I'm the president of the Philadelphia chapter of the National Association of Corporate Directors. NACD is the largest membership organization dedicated to board leadership, with nearly 18,000 members worldwide. For 40 years, NACD has advocated for the profession of directorship and diverse board composition. I'm here today to speak on my own behalf as a currently serving board member of 3 publicly traded companies, as well as a very large nonprofit with over 10,000 employees. My day job is heading a firm that provides turnaround management and restructuring assistance. We deal with distressed companies. In nearly every situation I have seen over more than 25 years as a turnaround professional, corporate governance was weak. While better corporate governance alone might not have been enough to change the result, it certainly would have helped. The fact is that good corporate governance reduces risk and increases enterprise value. The statistics you've heard show that companies that embrace and effectively execute a policy of boardroom diversity perform better financially. It may be a cause and effect relationship, as well as a reflection that a company that is enlightened and forward-looking as regards diversity may be that way in other areas as well, which improves their business. The point is that pursuing diversity, especially in the boardroom, is just good business. The members of a board of directors are fiduciaries for the shareholders, or in the case of a nonprofit, for the people of the Commonwealth who are represented by the Attorney General. This means they have a duty to place their own interests behind that of the company or their organization. The companies and nonprofit organizations that these boards of directors oversee typically employ a diverse population of managers and employees. They serve a diverse population of customers and clients. They receive goods and services from vendors and providers with diverse employees and owners. And they have their offices and operations in diverse communities. It is long overdue for these fiduciary boards of directors to reflect the employees, customers, vendors, and communities which make possible their existence. Our State House has an opportunity to stand up and be counted among progressive states that recognize the economic value of diversity in corporate governance. Passage of Resolution 273 will send a message about our Commonwealth and what it stands for, and provide support to companies throughout our state that have an opportunity to increase diversity in their boardrooms. One of my other jobs is running corporate governance programming for the American Bar Association. And we look across the pond for what regulations and best practices are coming our way. In the EU, it is already required for traded companies to report about boardroom diversity. And major institutional investors here are already saying they will withhold votes for boards that do not promote diversity. Now, I wish I could stand before you and claim that I personally am a shining example with respect to the boards in which I have served. But I'm going to call myself out because the fact is, I am part of the problem. Myself and people like me who may intellectually talk about the value of diversity in the boardroom, but have failed to take the necessary action to make it happen. So in addition to House Resolution 273, this is my own resolution to return to the boards on which I serve currently and to those in the future, as well as to the organizations like NACD in which I'm active, and to be a stand for improved boardroom diversity, achieving the goals set forth in the House resolution and within the timetable provided. To that end, our NACD chapter will host a program next month on the 23rd in Philadelphia on boardroom diversity, the power of perspective. The time for hand-wringing over the disheartening historical statistics is over, and the time for action is now. Thank you.
So on behalf of the Forum of Executive Women, I would like to again thank Representative Harper, Speaker Mike Turzai, Howard for your remarks, and also the Forum Board, as well as Yelena Barachev, Denise Marbach, and Jane Firth, Forum of Executive Women members who helped bring us to this place today. And I think we're happy to take questions if there are any. Thank you.
The House is actually getting better. I've been here for a while. We still have less than 20% women representatives, and that's going to depend on the voters more than the House itself. But I do think that the Speaker was here because he recognizes that sometimes corporations need to be encouraged to do the right thing. And we are all interested in the Commonwealth's economy. And companies that have diverse boards do better. We really need that in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So I think the Speaker would say that he himself recognizes it in picking the first woman Chief of Staff, Karen Coates, to basically be the COO of the House, to run things, and that the rest of us recognize it as well. And so I think that's why Pennsylvania has an interest in this. This is not about affirmative action. This is about finding good, qualified people, putting them on boards, and doing better as a Commonwealth. Anybody else? I talk fast, sorry.
Jan, I just want to add, much of what we do
on,
here is
Mike.
much of what we do is for educational purposes, be it bringing to light the opioid crises or human trafficking, different things. We take to the podium and to the microphone to make sure that people are aware, and it makes for a better, stronger Pennsylvania. And Kate's right, none of this is about affirmative action. There's not a woman standing behind me or takes a seat in our chambers today who wants that seat because they're a woman. They want that seat because they've earned it. They're qualified for it, and it's about time that that recognition is being granted and that diversity is found in our boardrooms as well. I tell kids all the time, it's great news we've never had more women in the House of Representatives for Pennsylvania, but we're still among the lowest nationwide. So, thank you.
Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you all for coming. We appreciate your being here, and we'll see you on the floor.